Yo, guys, it's your boy Chris Lethal. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be matchmaking UFC Abu Dhabi winners and losers. Let's get right into the winner of the main event, Magomed Ankalaev. Uh, there's a lot to say for Magomed. I don't think he earned himself a title shot. I truly don't. I heard the rumored fight for, I think, UFC 333 is Paulo Costa versus Yuri Prochazka for the championship, or for the interim. I don't think Magomed proved himself. He had one of the most boring main events. He had the worst main event of the year besides the Conor McGregor fight of the year. I know Bogdan was a lot of the problem in that fight, but Magomed had one of the worst. Like, the fight ended because of boredom. He didn't deserve a title shot. I don't think he earned it. I think you give him another fight. I think you give him the rematch, or I think you give him the original match in Khalil Roundtree, and then he can fight the winner of Yuri Costa, or he can fight Earlberg. He'll fight someone. He'll go out. He'll come back in like a year and a half. Ramazan Temazov. Ramazan should fight Alona Kavanaugh. He called him out. It makes sense. Tamarov is going to be around 8-7 in the world after that KO against Urseg. Lohner just came off of a brutal loss to Roy Val. Tamarov isn't the most active. Lohner's going to need a couple months off. They're both manlets in the flyweight division. They're both incredibly small. Both incredibly good strikers. I think Lohner Kavanaugh would win this fight, but it would be a really interesting fight to see. What is on this? Good kick, good footwork. Well, I don't know what that is. John Pork should fight Drew Dober. It makes sense. Drew Dober is kind of like a prospect fighter. He just fights everyone that's coming up in the rankings. John Pork had a brutal performance. His striking is one of the best I've ever seen in the division. Drew Dober is a really good boxer, very durable. John Pork does not have the most power, so I think this would go to another decision, but like a 30-27 decision. And if John Pork wins, it proves that he is good enough to fight the top echelon UFC talent. Rizvan Kuniev should fight Pavlovich. It makes sense. Pavlovich is on a win streak. He beat Costa, and then he knocked out Teixeira. Both pretty good wins. He is either going to fight Josh Hokett or Rizvan Kuniev. Kuniev had one of the best performances I've seen in his career. Destroyed Tyrell Fortune, finished him, got his first UFC finish. Brutal body kicks, brutal body knees. Just really devastating performance. Really showed that he is a top level heavyweight. I picked him in every single one of his fights. I believe he's won every single one of his fights inside the UFC. I think he beat Blades. I think this would be a really interesting matchup. I think I would give it to Pavlovich, because we've seen Rizvan not really be able to take people down. Pavlovich has some good takedown defense, and he's really powerful, and Kuniev is kind of hittable. So I would give this to Pavlovich, but this would be an interesting matchup. And Kuniev didn't take much damage. You can book this in the next Abu Dhabi card. Abukar Vagayev should fight Chaos Williams. This is just kind of like a filler matchup. Hopefully Chaos Williams is able to get Abukar off of him and actually make this an entertaining striking fight, but I doubt it. I think Abukar would just smother him and just beat his ass on the ground. There's not much to say about this one. Walter Walker should fight Spivak. It makes sense. They're both bald. Spivak is kind of like, he's never going to get a title shot. He's always going to be in that like 6-10 range. We need to give Walter an actual challenge in the heavyweight division to see if he's just good at heel hooking fatties or if he's an actual good fighter. I've yet to see him throw an actual good strike. I think this is a good fight because Vivek is not a can. Like, he's pretty talented on the ground. He has good submissions. He has decent striking. He's pretty durable. This would be a legitimate test for Walter Walker, and I think this is a fight you have to make. And Spivak is, they could make this in like a month or two. Mohammed Sadikov. Saikov. He should fight Nikita Krylov. I know Mohammed said he doesn't want to be in the top 10. He wants to be out of it. Nikita Krylov's not even ranked in light heavyweight. Nikita Krylov is just a really good test. He destroyed Justin Jacoby, and I think Dustin Jacoby would beat Nikita Krylov at this point in his career. Sadikov is just phenomenal. Saidov, that's his name. Saidov is really, really good. His kicking game is insane. He's fast. He's really, really, really good on the feet. I think this would be an interesting match, and I think he would finish Krylov. Sam Patterson should fight the loser of Uros Medic and Daniel Rodriguez, which is going to be Daniel Rodriguez. I have no doubt about it. He called for a top 15 shot. I think he should get it. He's very entertaining. He gets KOs. I think they'll give him a top 15, and I think that will be Daniel Rodriguez, and I think he gets it. Axel Sola should be one fight off of fighting a ranked opposition. Chris Duncan is like number 17 in the world right now. He was fighting for a ranked spot in his last fight against Moicano before getting demolished. I think they're just going to boost Sola up there because they go to France every year. They need those French fighters. And why not have a French ranked fighter in the lightweight division? They already have BSD, but they could have another one. Sola will dismantle Chris Duncan. I think this is a really good fight. You could even give Sola a ranked opponent, but I want to see him have one more actual test against like a gritty fighter. Tuchalov. He should fight Dior Nurgazai. He should fight him. They're both pretty shit. Magomed showed that he is really not up to par. He was having a life and death fight against Bredson Ribeiro. Nurgazai is like my least favorite fighter. I've seen him get subbed twice. I think Tuchalov would sub him, but if he can't, just cut him from the UFC. Norillo Alves is probably one or two fights from the rankings. Fares Ziam lost his ranking to Tom Nolan in his last fight. I think you book these two against each other, and the winner of it gets that number 15 spot. I think Fares Ziam is a really, really high-level fighter, and I think he would be able to stuff the takedowns of Aliev, and I think he would dismantle him on the feet. I would go, this is the fight I would make. Because I think you can't punish Norillo, but you could cut him. But you can't punish him for not being entertaining when no one's making him work. I think Fares would make him work. So I think this is why you make this matchup. Abdul Hassan should fight Timmy Kwambo. Why not? I mean, Abdul Hassan should be a flyweight. He's really small for bantamweight, but if he's going to stay at bantamweight, give him someone that's really good but not ranked. Give him Timmy Kwambo. Moving on to the losers, starting with the main event. Bogdan Guskov should fight Robert Whittaker. I was originally giving Robert Whittaker Azamat Mirzakhanov, but I think Mirzakhanov's going to fight a little bit higher up in the rankings. I think you punish Guskov by making him fight a lot farther down. I think you give him Whittaker. Book this for Australia in whenever they go to Australia. I think it's in November. Book this. Why not? I mean, Whittaker took no damage in his last fight, but Guskov, shit, you should punish him. Steve Erceg needs to fight someone that's barely ranked or coming into the rankings. I think you give him Alessandro Costa, who is on a 4-fight win streak. Erceg's just really gone through the ringer in his last couple fights. He's really struggled. Costa's really well-rounded, but he doesn't have ungodly power. I think Erceg has a very good chance of winning this fight. I think Costa has a good chance of winning this fight. I think this is the most reasonable matchup you make for Erceg. Damian Respecki should fight Matt Frivola. Respecki deserves a known name, a known striker. He showed a lot of heart. He's very durable, very good on the feet, has some wrestling. Matt Frivola is just there to get KO'd. I think this is what you make. Tyrell Fortune should fight Brendo Pericik. Tyrell Fortune showed that he is actually a good high-level fighter. Brando needs to fight up in the rankings. It makes sense. I know I'm flying through these, but there's not much to really say. I think Tyrell should fight Brando, but you do got to give Tyrell Fortune some time off because of the rib injury he sustained in that fight against Kuniev. Saigid, I don't know his last name, should fight Thomas Burgundy. Uh, yeah, I think it's Burgundy. I don't know his name, but he should fight him. Thomas Peterson should fight Gohan Sakrikam. Sakrikam beat Tanner Bozer in Canada recently, or in like March. He hasn't fought since. Thomas Peterson got heel hooked. He's just another fatty that got heel hooked. Took no damage in that fight. Can make a quick turnaround for an Abu Dhabi card. That's what you got to do. Dustin Jacoby should fight his original opponent, Lucas Fernando. Fernando has a booked fight for Sacramento or UFC 330, one of those fights. He's going to walk through his opponent. He's going to finish him. Then you book this fight. Santiago Ponzinibbio should fight Daniil Donchekov. Donchekov is good, but he has a lot of question marks around his game. Santiago Ponzinibbio showed in that fight that he still has grit. He's still good enough to compete. I think this is the fight you make. And if Daniil is good enough to beat Ponzinibbio, I think you know that he is, an actual prospect. Ismail Bonfim should fight Michael Johnson. There's not really much to say. I mean, it's either you give him like an old vet or you cut Bonfim. Bonfim's on a 4-fight losing streak, all by finish. Michael Johnson is just, always around, always willing to take a fight. Why not? This is the fight you have to make. Yeah, Bredson Ribeiro finally gets cut from the UFC. Mike Davis should fight Alexander Hernandez. Give him a striker, for goodness sake. Mike Davis is one of the most entertaining unranked fighters in the lightweight division, and he just gets wrestler after wrestler, gets taken down. Alex Hernandez won't really shoot too often. I think this would be a good match. I would favor Alex Hernandez, but Cody Gibson, I feel bad cutting him. I think you've given him bad opponent, and he takes them all on short notice. I think you give him Santiago Luna on a full fight camp. If he can't win, you cut Gibson. That is it for the video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.